Welcome, Solar here. I hope you guys are doing well today. Happy Virgo season. So I'm here to do a tarot astrology reading, and I'm doing a tarot astrology reading based upon the chart when the sun entered Virgo earlier on today, so maybe about 12 hours ago, I believe, as I record. It's just after 10 British Standard Time, and I believe the sun entered Virgo this morning at literally 10:02. So we're 12 hours into Virgo season, and we're going to take a look at what the energies of that chart are trying to speak to us about, what we can expect this season. So the way an energy begins can give us a lot of insight as to what the themes are ahead. Okay, so I want to welcome you. If you're here for the very first time, I invite you to stick around. Tarot astrology is the breaking down of astrology utilizing the power of tarot, things like numerology, as well as any channeled messages that I receive concerning the energy. Welcome if you are returning. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to all of my newest subscribers. Welcome here too. I want to thank you for all your likes, your shares, your comments, your subscribes, and all the ways that you support, your donations. Those of you who support me on both this channel and my other channel, Solara Speaks, I just want to say thank you. Okay, so we're going to get into this. So we have moved from Leo energy, which in the tarot is, in the major arcana, is the strength and the sun card. And we've moved now into hermit territory. The last degrees of Leo, the sun had a snog with Regulus just yesterday on the 22nd. In that final degree of Leo, and that last decan of Leo is represented in the minor arcana by the Seven of Wands. Okay, so now we've moved officially into Virgo season, and the Virgo energy in the tarot is of course represented by the number 9 card, the Hermit. And because we're at 0 degrees Virgo presently, the 0 to 10 degree mark of Virgo is represented by the 8 of Pentacles. So what does that mean? What is going on for us right now in terms of how we can look at the energies? Well, we have to also consider other factors at play right now. Always got to consider the other factors. For one thing, as the sun enters Virgo, the Mercury has stationed to begin her retrograde period through Virgo. And this is all happening for most of you on a Wednesday. So Wednesday is ruled by the planet Mercury. So we got a lot of mercurial energy happening right now. So let's tune into the meaning behind that for a moment. So let's think about the planet Mercury, some of its themes and why it's showing up so strongly right now, not only in the energy of Virgo season, because Virgo of course is ruled by Mercury, but the Mercury going retrograde and on a Wednesday, that's like triple mercurial energy. Okay, so Spirit is speaking to us, literally, because Mercury is a planet through which we receive communication from Spirit. Spirit is speaking to us in that way, and then, figuratively too. So Mercury is the planet, like I said, through which we receive our communications. We receive our divine instructions. It's the way that we connect with those beings that we like to say are on the other side, but they're not really, but they are the invisible energies and forces that are here to guide us. They work through mercurial energy. Now, Mercury as a planet, in terms of what it helps us to do, as beings who are interested in ascending, Mercury helps us to break things apart through its expression in Virgo. But through its expression in Gemini, Mercury helps to broaden the horizons of our mental energies so that we're able to actually break out of all of the conditioning and programming and boxes that we are placed into in order to limit us and keep us small. In other words, Mercury is a highly expansive energy. And interestingly enough, Virgo season has us moving into the second mutable portion of the year. So the zodiac chart is broken down in cardinal, fixed, and mutable energies. And there are 4 cardinal signs, and they're considered 2 groups of sister signs. So the cardinal sign always kicks off the energy. So Aries is a cardinal sign. Cancer is a cardinal sign. Aries sister sign Libra is a cardinal sign, and Cancer sister sign Capricorn is a cardinal sign. Okay, so and then we move into the fixed signs, which are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, and those are the energies that take us to the cross, right? It's the wheel of fortune and the world. It's our way out into the next level, and in some ways our way out of the matrix. Okay, it's where we choose whether or not we're going to get off at a certain stop. It's where we make certain decisions, and then the mutable signs come in to help us to organize based upon the choices that we've made through the fixed sign energy. So your mutable signs are Gemini, right? Virgo, Sagittarius, and the last sign of the zodiac, Pisces. Okay, so I say all of that because the 2 planets that rule over the mutable signs are Mercury and Jupiter. So they're all about the expansiveness that we need in order to expand our horizons, because hopefully through the fixed sign energies, we are making decisions that take us higher. And when we decide to move higher in our truth, we need to expand our mental energies, and we need to expand our physical realities, and we need sometimes to expand our emotional truths. We need to accommodate this new way of thinking, feeling, being, and living. And so this is where the mutable signs help us to integrate those choices by utilizing the power of these planets that are here to expand our consciousness and connect us deeper with our truth. So this is where we are, the second visit of a mutable sign since the year began. So now we are entering into what we would call the 6th house in astrology, right? And before I get any further, I want to put in this disclaimer. I am not an astrologist. I do not identify myself as being such. I have not been trained traditionally in astrology. I like to joke that I probably have done it in many past lives because it came quite quickly to me, but the way that I've been trained in astrology is very different from Western or traditional modes or methods. I've been taught directly by my guides, and they utilize the power of tarot to break it down for me. So although I will speak about certain things that common astrological concepts and topics, I want to be very clear that I'm not a classical astrologer. So the 6th house energy. In the zodiac, there are 12 houses. And when we get to the 6th house, which is the house of Virgo, this is the final house of self. This is the first 6 houses of the zodiac are very much to do with self. They're very insular energies, 22 on my clock. And the second round of houses, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, are more to do with our interactions with others, and it branches all the way out until it becomes collective, our influence on the collective, or our role in the collective. Okay, so in that way you can say that Virgo energy is kind of a checkpoint. So we've just come through Leo season, and we came through Cancer season. So Aries, Taurus, and Gemini season were a quarter, kind of like, they break down the financial quarter. That was the first quarter in the zodiac wheel. And now we are ending our second quarter of the zodiac wheel, or we're entering into the end of the second quarter of the zodiac wheel. And so if we begin with Cancer season, which was all to do about the introduction of a new energy, cardinal, and then Leo season was about fixing that energy. And Virgo now is about organizing our lives based upon our choice. Okay, our choice through the fixed energy. Now, we cannot completely discount the Aries, Taurus, and Gemini quarter because they are what ultimately opened the door to this. So, the first quarter, Aries, Taurus, Gemini season was very much concerned with our mind and our thoughts, our mental bodies. And Cancer and Leo and Virgo season are more concerned with our hearts coming into alignment with our minds. So the lessons that we were learning about ourselves through Aries, Taurus, and Gemini were about how we think about ourselves, the new ways that we're wanting to connect with our divine truth, and the belief system we're beginning to build about self and therefore one another in the world. And then Cancer season came around and said, okay, well, this is your new mind, which I like to refer to, through Gemini season, we acquire the Christed mind. Okay, but it's a culmination of Aries and Taurus energy that Gemini season helps us to integrate and expand our mental energies enough to accommodate, right? So through Gemini season, we access our Christed mind. And then Cancer season comes along and says, well, if you're thinking this way about yourself, we must now recalibrate your emotional fields. Because the way that energy is made manifest or comes into fruition is it first begins in the spirit, etherically, and then it must come through the mental fields, your thoughts and other beings' thoughts. But it doesn't come into culmination materially until it goes through the waters of your emotions. So your emotions are energy in motion. So you can think about your thoughts and mental energy as being an energy that needs, like the turbine momentum of your feelings, in order to grow, expand, and therefore materialize into reality. So now we're dealing, coming out of Cancer and Leo season, with a new way we must accommodate our emotions and our feelings to align with our Christed mind, so that we can access our higher hearts, or so that we can have the ability to open our stargates. Okay, so your stargate is very much connected to your Leo energy. Leo rules over your solar plexus and your heart. Leo energy helps you to reconnect with your light, with who you are divinely, but Leo energy helps you to begin to bring that into your physical truth. So the upper chakras are concerned with who the divine says you are and you aligning with that truth. That's why at your throat chakra, it's about you living in your truth. The crown chakra is like connected to your I am truth, is who the divine says you are. The third eye is how you make sense of that. It's kind of a processing unit in order that you can now begin to access it through your throat. And then your solar plexus is how you begin to take your personal will. The solar plexus is the seat of your will. Take your personal will and begin to live it. And it goes through the gateway of your emotions, which is your heart. Okay? I hope that's not too confusing. So, Leo season is about recovering the light of our truth, and recovering our own authority over our own willpower, which has been, bartered out from the beginning of the time that we're born, because everything in this matrix system is about getting external energies taking control over our personal will while making us think that we're free. So making us think that we're making decisions based upon our own free will, when really we've only been given the illusion of choice, and we've only been given limited perspectives from which to choose. And if you step outside of the box, there's like a punishment, there's like a pain, like you'll either get a new label or you'll get ostracized, or the many ways they try to keep us in check and in these boxes. So Leo season is about breaking out of that box by taking back this authority over our own wills. And oftentimes the first place where we lose our authority over our personal will is through the family system. And so this is why Leo energy is so concerned with the recuperation of the inner child, with the resurrection and the restoration of what we've lost through being wounded as children. Because, and I won't get into it too much, I'll just make this statement because it needs to be said again, especially if this is your first time checking me out. my belief is that the matrix system has been founded upon wounded child energy. So, in other words, in order for the matrix system to be kept alive, it had to wound us as children and then continually exploit that wounding in adulthood, so we never feel like we're enough, and we're constantly looking for things outside of self to give our power away to in a quest for, fulfillment that always falls short, because the only way you can truly be satisfied is when you come home to self. And so the Leo energy helps us to recoup our life force, recoup our light, our soul energy. Your solar plexus is your soul energy, and to take back the authority over our personal will and that energy, because it's the soul energy, your solar energy that you've been giving out, that we've been giving out. And we've been trading in for false things. So we've been trading it for false acceptance. We've been trading it to do things that don't fulfill us because we've been told that's how we're supposed to live. Everything in the matrix costs you something energetically, even if you are not aware that you're giving something away. And most of the time what you're giving away is your soul energy, is access to your solar plexus. Okay? This is why, we say someone's sold themselves out. The true currency in the matrix is not money. It's a gold of another kind. Your solar energy is your golden energy, okay? And your Virgo energy is actually what takes that solar energy and it begins to process it and turn it into gold, turn it into something materially that you can begin to work with. Because the Virgo energy, in terms of the minor arcana, it is over the 8 of Pentacles, the 9 of Pentacles, and the 10 of Pentacles. And if you know anything about tarot, you know those are the cards, especially the 9 and 10 of Pentacles, that speak of wealth. They speak of wealth, they speak of health, vitality. They are the ultimate cards that everyone wants to get to. They are the final, if you're looking at the tarot through how energy is manifested by way of the tree of life, then the 10 of Pentacles is the destination. That's where you're trying to get to from the beginning. So the 10 of Pentacles is the card of health, wealth, legacy is really what it's about. So Virgo energy helps us to access that by taking back our soul power, our life force that we get back through Leo, and now processing it and turning it into gold, true gold, if that makes sense. So you get your resources back through the Leo energy. That's partly what the 8-8 portal is about. I've spoken about this in previous videos, right? The 8-8 portal is lined up with the galactic new year, and it operates especially with the star system Sirius as well as Orion. But Sirius would be the main star event that the 8-8 portal is connected to, because it is through this portal that you receive your divine resources for the year ahead. It's where you receive, it's almost like your 2233 on my clock. It's like you receive a boost in your soul energy in order for you to move forward in the year ahead. Because truth be told, divinely, the divine plan for you here on earth is not that you come here and be a slave. It's not that you come here and you spend your time being programmed out of your truth and working for other beings who are being made fake rich off of your true divine resources, and you're none the wiser, you don't know. That was not the divine plan. The divine plan is for you to come here to learn and to grow and to experience your God self in physical form. And as such, everything you could ever need is actually provided through you. But the beings that run this show and have been running this show because they wired it to be a certain way ages ago and have been perfecting it over time. They knew this about you. It's why we come through the veil of amnesia, so we forget who we are, so they can just continually rob us of our light. Rob us of our light. That's what their reincarnation system is, trying to get the fullness of your battery before sending you back for a little bit of a charge and taking you back through their process again, keeping you stuck in karmic cycles, recycling your soul in order to use you as a battery to run their nefarious purposes here, because they don't have the energy to do it, but you do. Okay, so the truth be told is that you've always been the commodity. You've always been the resource. It's not about the money. They've taken your energy and they've turned it into money. And Virgo energy is the way that they do it. Because Virgo energy, they use it nefariously, but Virgo energy for you is how you take your light and you process it and make it something material. This is why, Virgo energy is kind of considered to be the perfecter of your soul. And soul, S-O-L. That means the light that you've taken, Virgo energy helps you to know how to invest it. And I'm talking about energy here, not necessarily money. It's not money yet, okay? And we won't get into the money talk, because money is, we need it to survive, but it's also something that has been constructed in order to keep us bound and focused on the wrong things, okay? And that's not me minimizing the importance of it because we live in a physical reality. That's just me being frank with you, okay? So divinely, the Virgo energy is here to help you process your soul light, what you get every year, your divine galactic resources. The Virgo energy is here to help you process that materially in many ways. It's there to show you how to protect it. It's there to show you how to guard it. It's there to show you how to regulate it. It's there to show you how to invest it and to use it. This is why that Virgo energy is really good at organizing. It's really good at routines and schedules and putting us into that energy. It's really good at helping us to see the finer details. It is the mercurial aspect that the Gemini energy needs in order to ground its expansiveness of mental energy into real time. Okay, so the Virgo energy is here to help us to perfect our light and to know how to use it in ways that benefit ourselves, so we can then go forth in the Libra energy and onwards, the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th house, and share our light in ways that build others without depleting self. Okay? I hope that makes sense. So I don't know if any of you noticed it today. I have spoken about this in the past, how August is the month, Leo season is a month where they kind of like to let your energy field expand by letting you relax. It's one of the top holiday seasons of the year, a few weeks in August. That and then their next major harvesting cycle, which is Capricorn season, Christmas time. But the reason they want you to relax is so that your fields can expand in order to take in more of your solar energy, more of the resources coming through the 8-8 portal, so that come Virgo season, they can use the energy nefariously to stick you back into schedules that don't align with your truth in order to put you in states of fear and anxiety, so they can then begin the process of making sure that you don't integrate that energy into your fields. Okay, so you need to be, like the Hermit energy is about going within, right? It's about taking the light of your lantern and going and using that to find your way to the Wheel of Fortune, which is the number 10 card. So that's something that you need to do within the context of, you need to do it alone. But you'll notice that the matrix system is lined up so that as soon as the end of August comes around, all of the pressures begin to come on you. Suddenly, everyone's got to go back to school, got to go back to work. There's financial pressures because everyone's got to be on trend and all this other stuff. And it's all designed to cause you to look outside of yourself and to connect to all of these external energies of lack, because really it's lack. To constantly put a person in a state of feeling like they need something or they don't have something is a state of lack. or to put people in a state of needing to fit themselves in schedules that don't actually align with who they are or what they're here to do. It puts you in a state of fear and anxiety. And then also, let's not forget the shame that comes when you're looking at other beings, and you know, especially if you're a parent and you've got kids, or even if your kids are going back to school and you don't have the right gear, or you're a parent who can't give your kids the right gear. All of this is to, again, play on these energies of lack that have already been placed in you from childhood. And come Virgo season, they really put the pressure on because they don't want you integrating the energies that Leo season allowed your fields to receive. Okay, so let's get into the actual energy. So the sun was at 0 degrees, is at 0 degrees Virgo. That, of course, is the portal into Virgo energy. Whenever we have 0 degrees, we've got Alpha and Omega meeting to open up a doorway. So now we've walked through the doorway of Virgo energy. I don't know if you noticed, but today there was a lot of, I want to be careful with what I say. There was a lot of collective things that were put in the atmosphere already to adjust frequencies. Okay, so Virgo, 0 degrees, that's the 8 of Pentacles. Now, an energy that I was picking up on, I did get the 8 of Pentacles out. I have, I went into different tarot decks to look at different representations of energies. So I'm going to show you the 3 different 8 of Pentacles I have here. So we have, okay, so we have, this is the 8 of Pentacles from the Modern Witch tarot deck. And we have her sitting down, drafting something at her, this isn't a computer, this is like one of those fancy schmancy Illustrator drawing tablet things, okay? And then we have the 8 of Pentacles. I think this is called the Everyday Witch tarot deck. It's gifted to me by a beautiful soul. And in this she's crafting some kind of potion. And a potion including the bottle itself has a pentacle on it. So all of the bottles that she's using to create her potion are a pentacle. So this again is speaking about the integration, okay? And then we have this right here. We have the 8 of Coins. This is the Crystal Magic Tarot, I believe. This is another gift from a beautiful subscriber. And the 8 of Coins. So this is the crystal here is zoisite. Yeah, zoisite. If you guys want to look into that, that might be of use to somebody. I have zoisite, but it's really funny. I never remember its properties, like right off my head. So somebody might want to look that up. That might be a message for you. Zoisite might be something you want to work with in this first decan of Virgo season. The message I've had coming through about this 8 of Pentacles energy is that traditionally the 8 of Pentacles is all about putting the work in order to get to the 9 of Pentacles. It's like sitting down at the desk, drafting the plans and doing the work. But it's very interesting because what I've been feeling more than anything, and maybe it's just this year, is that this isn't a time for you to be sitting down and doing work. And for some of you it is. Like, I don't want to say like you're not supposed to do anything. That's not it at all, because you should utilize this Virgo energy you should utilize the fullness of the energy to get yourself organized and to do things, because Virgo energy really does help us to do that. It helps us to organize ourselves. It helps us to go back to projects that we've left on the wayside. Virgo energy is amazing for that. And yet there's something here about while doing that, allowing for guides and helpers to step in, because we're going through, it feels like this Virgo portal is, we're going through a time where it's like we need to sit back a little bit and allow divine intervention to take over. We need to sit back and allow what the divine is trying to work in our souls to be done. And when I say in our souls, I mean the way that the divine is wanting to integrate and help us to ground and assimilate our light energy and our new life force. We need to let that happen as much as we are also 2244, as much as we are also utilizing the power of this Virgo energy to get back on track. There's something, there's a message very strongly coming through here about letting the divine take the wheel for this part of the season. And not even this part of the season. I feel like it's a theme throughout Virgo season this year, is really allowing, it's really about learning. It's almost like being more in the position of observing, but also receiving. That's kind of what it is, because the other energy that kept on coming through was the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, and the Queen of Pentacles, of course, is connected to the Virgo energy, connected to Earth sign energy in general. But ultimately, the Earth signs, the Pentacles energy from Ace to 10, which is, you know, Taurus, Capricorn, and then Virgo, it's there to help us become the Queen and finally the King of Pentacles. Okay, so some of you, it's almost like you are accessing this. You are accessing your Queen or King of Pentacles status. And in order to do that, it's almost like your guides want you to allow them to process your paperwork. Almost is what it feels like. Let them process your paperwork. Let them help you to integrate these energies so that you can tune into your 9 and 10 of Pentacles, your legacy, your abundance. Yes. Another energy that's been coming through, and this is kind of piggybacking a little bit off of my message that I did on Saturday on my channel, Solara Speaks, and that is that there are beings that are about that the light of Leo has shown into their reality to show them that you are the Queen of Pentacles. So there were some, or the King of Pentacles. So there were some, I keep on saying the Queen because the Virgo energy, of course, is feminine energy. It's one of the Divine Mother energies too. But there's, when you get to the mutable signs, right? Remember I said the mutable energies are all about taking the decisions of the fixed energies that come before them and supplying the expansiveness you need to like come up with a plan or to rise into that energy. And Gemini was the last mutable season we went through. And I want to take you back to Gemini season, because Gemini season was a complete mindfuck this year, right? There was psychic attacks left, right, entity jumping, shape shifting, all of that shit, like on 10. Gemini season. And the whole point was so we would arise with our Christ in mind. But Gemini season was also about the introduction of divine contracts. Now, we are all beings who have free will, right? So many of you may have found yourselves entering into divine contracts through the Gemini energy because it was lining you up with your new value system and belief system that you had accrued through the Aries and the Taurus and the Gemini energy. So the Gemini energy at the end said, okay, now you're ready for this contract. This is what you've aligned your mental energies to receive. Okay, so some of you were walking into divine contracts. And when I say divine contracts, this can be romantic, platonic, business, it can be healing. It just means those energies that divinely open up for you because you have raised your frequency to meet those energies. Okay, so depending on how you dealt with those contracts is how, because then through Cancer season, you were tested with those contracts. So you were tested to see through the waters of Cancer, through your emotions, can you handle this high contract? Can you handle this new caliber of energy that wants to be in your life? Or are you going to fumble it? Are you going to fumble it based upon moving below the belief system that you've just acquired based upon who you now know you are through your Aries energy and what your value system now is through Taurus? Are you going to, stay with this new standard that wants to be set in your energy field? Are you going to stay with it by recalibrating yourself emotionally, by healing your attachment wounds, by dealing with some of those deep-rooted mother issues and the ways your nervous system has been programmed into trauma? Are you going to deal with that, or are you going to once again choose a lower energy because you don't really believe your value, or you're not aligning the truth of your value with your efforts towards healing? I hope that makes sense. So in that way, this is how contracts are weeded out. And so some of you have graduated out of that energy, whilst others are going to have to learn how to rise out of that. Okay? And in that, Virgo season is going to open the door once again to new contracts based upon the recalibration of your emotional energy. Okay, so if you did the emotional healing, if you honored self, if you chose not to go back to situations in any way, shape, or form that are there to dysregulate your nervous system and to put you in states of even micro trauma, if you chose to honor self and to honor your new value, then a higher divine contract is either opening, or the divine contract that opened for you in Gemini season is going to take a higher expression, if that makes sense. So every time you recalibrate yourself to climb higher into your truth, you open yourself up to higher levels of what we call divine contracts. They become available to you because you've raised your frequency to access it. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so this is what Virgo season is about. So when we get out of the first decan and we move into the second decan, it's going to be all about the Nine of Pentacles. It's going to be all about the ways you truly value yourself by not just how you think, with the Gemini energy, not just how you feel with the Cancer and the Leo energy to some extent, but now what is it that you're actually doing? How is it that you're actually living? How is it that you're actually organizing yourself? How are you aligning this new value system and this new mental and emotional energies that you've managed to access by healing your mind and your heart and therefore raising your frequency? How are you going to take that now and materialize it? How are you going to apply it to your day-to-day routines? How are you going to apply it in the ways that you show up for yourself, in the ways that you show up in the world? This is what the Virgo energy is here to help you tune into and to perfect. And when I say to perfect, I'm not talking about being perfect, because there's no such thing. But the Virgo energy is here. When I speak about the Virgo energy perfecting your soul, it's helping you to climb to your highest caliber of personal expression where you are. And that can always rise based upon your own evolution. Okay. So we've spoken about this 0-degree portal that the Virgo energy through the Eight of Pentacles, where our guides are assisting us, okay, at this juncture, because this is, every year we get this, but this year is significantly heightened because of where we are in the ascension. When the sun entered Virgo at 0 degrees, 12 hours ago, the moon was at 17 degrees Scorpio, and this is quite something because we've got the moon expressing itself through a tarot Aquarian degree, and we've got Uranus expressing itself through an astrological Aquarian degree. So we've got the Aquarius energy, and then because this was occurring on Wednesday the 23rd of August, 23 again is in alignment. It's Aquarian energy. 23 is an Aquarian degree in astrology. Okay, and this is about, the age of Aquarius. So, yes, even the WWW is Aquarian. W is a 23rd letter of the alphabet, if you know your gematria. So www, the rise of the internet was the beginning of the switch into the age of Aquarius, because Aquarius is very concerned with technology. So even down to the fact that we do www is connected to that Aquarian energy. Just a random tidbit of information, like just so you know how interconnected everything is. So Scorpio energy. I love that the Scorpio energy is bringing in Virgo season, because of course the Scorpio energy is very much connected to transformation, but the Virgo and the Scorpio energy are far more connected than many beings tend to speak about. And I actually began to explore this through a really good friend. She pointed this out to me about a year ago, and when she said it, it made so much sense to me, because the glyph of the Virgo, it's like this M, and then it has this kind of like a tail that comes off of it. And the Scorpio energy is the same M, but it's without the tail attached, but it still forms a tail going out, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, then check out the Virgo and the Scorpio glyphs, because they are actually very interconnected. Okay. They're actually very interconnected. So for me as a reader who's got very high Divine Mother energy, I always think of the 3 signs of the zodiac being the most representative of the Divine Mother, 2255 on my clock, as being Cancer, Virgo, and Scorpio. And Scorpio energy rules over your sacral and your womb energy. Okay, so it's very interesting. Go on. It's very interesting that this Scorpio and Virgo energy are coming together at the start of Virgo season. Okay, so the Scorpio energy in the tarot is represented by 3 cards. The Death card, the Tower, and the Judgment. So Virgo energy, I'm sorry, to go back to what I was saying. The Virgo energy is all about helping us to perfect our light. But the Scorpio energy is what prepares us to start living our light before others. It is the sign that precedes Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is the truth liver of the zodiac. And the reason why Sagittarius is able to live its truth so boldly is due to the fact that Scorpio energy allows us to go deep into the darkest recesses of our souls with the light afforded us by Leo and integrated in us through Virgo. Okay, so the Scorpio energy is afforded its ability to go so deep into the dark due to the fact that the Virgo energy has helped to integrate the light it needs to be able to see. So all of the signs are interconnected and they have a purpose in how we ascend. So the fact that Scorpio is here supporting Virgo, I find to be very interesting. The 17 degree is a degree of Leo. So we have Scorpio we have the sun coming out of Leo into Virgo, and we have Scorpio, the moon having been in Scorpio while the sun was in Leo. Now the moon is still in Scorpio while we make the transition into Virgo. And when it happens is at a Leo degree. Okay, so we have this Scorpio energy supporting it's almost like supporting the transportation of the light that it's going to need in Scorpio season for us to once again go deep and to excavate new information that's going to help us to live our truth even more boldly by Sagittarius season. Okay, so what's very interesting about this is in terms of the minor arcana, energy of the 17-degree mark of Scorpio. This is the Six of Cups. So again, like I said to you, when we get to the mutable signs, we are dealing with the opening of new contracts, or the ability to climb higher in the contracts that we're in, based upon the integration of the energies of the cardinal and the fixed signs that came right before it. So with this moon, the Six of Cups energy, there are energies that are coming up for us now to deal with. They're coming up on the subconscious level, and by Scorpio season, we will have the light that we need to get answers about them. Get answers about certain contracts, especially past life contracts. But remember, I said to you also, the way that we have dealt with the contracts that were presented to us in Gemini season, it's almost like we're either being rewarded or we're learning new lessons, because we need to tune deeper into our value. And so for some of you, this queen, you're sitting in this Queen of Pentacles energy, King of Pentacles energy, or you're entering it, and it's going to become more and more apparent. In fact, if anything, the light of Leo shone that truth into your fields throughout Leo season. It was being made real to those who fumbled you in certain contracts, like that you are the Pentacles, that you are Pentacleicious, okay? And this moon in Scorpio is going to be interesting, because we step into Mercury stationing to go retrograde with the moon in Scorpio. So, you know, as we enter Virgo season, there's a lot of us are in our feels again. You know, you might not have felt this emotional since Cancer season. It's time again, guys. It's time to go there. We'll see if that's a theme throughout Virgo season. Virgo tends to be, Virgos are deeply emotional beings. They really are. But they tend to also get very stuck in their minds at times, and that's because they have that ability to take a lot of information and to condense it, so that they know how to break things down and compartmentalize. But having to do that before they get to the part where they can break it down and compartmentalize, all of that energy that they're presented with in order to do that can overwhelm them at times. And this is why Virgos can be very, very hard on themselves, because they don't realize a lot of the time just how big a job they have and just how much they contribute to the zodiac in just being who they are, or their Virgo energy, how much it helps us to ground ourselves and to create realities materially. The Virgo energy really helps us. The Virgo energy is the doorway into our ability to go out into the world and shine, you know, and that Virgo energy is something else. My daughter is a Virgo, and she's very feisty. She's very feisty, and she has been from the time that she was born. And I will often tell her this story, because it's true, that a few hours after my daughter was born and I was left alone with her, and we had that first moment to actually bond without a whole bunch of, you know, medical, nurses and stuff around us, I had this moment with her where she scared the bejesus out of me, because I'm looking at her and I'm like amazed that this being is now here, and I'm holding her and everything, and she looks at me with that Virgo look. And let me tell you, I know the Virgo look because my mother is also a Virgo, so she gave me that Virgo look. And she scared me because it was like she was looking at me and saying, "Are you sure you're qualified for this position?" And in that moment, she had me questioning all of my life decisions, because that's the kind of energy that Virgos can bring. They will have you questioning all of your life decisions, right? And this is the energy that many beings are in right now. Like, for better or for worse. Like some of you are questioning your life decisions because you're moving into higher energies and there's a need to let go of certain ways of thinking, feeling, being that have kept you out of the expansiveness of your truth. And then others are looking at it because they're still stuck in a box and they don't know how to get out of that box and they don't want to do the work to get out of that box. And they're looking at their life's decisions and they're like, how the fuck did I get to this place? But they're still not aware that they're in a box because they haven't done the work. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. Let's move it on. So we got Mercury at 21 degrees Virgo. So Mercury, of course, is the Magician card. That's the planet Mercury is aligned with the Magician card, as well as Virgo and Gemini energy because they are mercurial. They are the signs ruled by Mercury. So Mercury is the energy that helps us to know that we are equipped to do everything that we came here to do. And then Mercury gives us the instructions on how to do that, 23 or 4, 2, 3, 4, as I say that. Then Mercury gives us the divine directives to be able to use all of our resources to move forward. So we got Mercury at 21 degrees Virgo and now getting ready to go retrograde in the sign. And it's very interesting because 21 degrees in the tarot is the world. 21 degrees in astrology is Sagittarian energy, okay? In terms of tarot cards, 21 degrees Virgo is the doorway into the 10 of Pentacles. So this energy of learning, we have this energy that is speaking to us once again on legacy. And I think I touched on it in the last video, and if it wasn't this video, then it was on one of my videos on Solar Speaks, where we are moving away from these false legacies that have been built upon our stolen divine resources in the Matrix, and we are getting back our true divine resources to use them the way that we have been divinely assigned to do that here, and therefore seeding into the earth true legacy. And this is partially why I'm feeling like guides are saying, chill out and let us help you, because you are at this huge juncture where we are literally seeing old legacies die in order for you to step into your position and be able to access what it is that you need to begin to build true legacy on the earth. So you sit this one out. You do some of that loose end work that you put off, but let us deal with this this transition of power in real time, materially, that's about to happen. Because remember, Virgo energy is pentacleicious energy, so it deals with the material truth. So the 21 degree mark, the world, is very funny because this 21 number has been chasing me down for the past few days. And whenever I see a number, I always will try to bring it back to the tarot. And the 21 is, it's the letter U. Just realized that. 21 is the World card. And the World card in the tarot is the final card of the major arcana. I did take one out. It is the energy of the fixed signs, again, coming together. Every time you're about to exit an energy or graduate into something higher, you come to the cross. Either the Wheel of Fortune or the World. This is how we close out cycles. And but the World is less about a cycle and more about an era. That's really what it is. It's a complete closing out of an era. And this is really what's happening. This is the closing out of energies that have been in control of your solar plexus and your divine resources for an era. So for many of you, it's been across lifetimes. It's definitely been, millennia, for as long as this matrix system has existed, since the last golden age, the age of Leo. And we're moving forward now into a brand new golden age. And as such, this old era of keeping beings on this planet enslaved while programming them to believe that they're free so that they can be milked of all of their light and their resources divinely, that's coming to a close for as long as you want it to. You know, there are beings who will continue to choose their suffering, continue to choose their slavery, and that's a personal decision. We all have been given these ascended energies, these expansive energies to be able to heal ourselves and rise. So beings who choose not to do that, it is a choice. It is a choice, because at every turn we are all being shown certain things. Now, in order to tune into those things, it requires a level of self-trust and self-love and value, and recognizing that you're more than the craziness of this life in this world, in this matrix. You're more than what they told you you are. Now, if you're a being who has benefited off of all of this fuckery, then you probably weren't doing the work to figure out what needs to be healed, because you're definitely living in blankets upon blankets upon blankets of illusion, you know. But even with that being said, those beings were shown the possibilities. They were given the chance to heal at every turn, because we all are. Now, whether we choose to grab a hold of those messages, again, is a personal choice. And we're always being shown, and we're always being sent people on our paths to help us to rise. In fact, many of you were placed strategically into families with a lot of trauma and karma in order to help them to wake up. But instead of waking up, they chose to take their shadow and use it to put out your light. Okay, so I say all of that because everyone's been given a chance to be enlightened. Okay, so we got Mercury moving through Virgo, and of course Mercury likes to be in Virgo and likes to be in Gemini, because those are the signs it rules. So with it moving, Mercury is about Mercury retrogrades happen 4 times a year, right? And they happen in order for us to kind of recalibrate, review, and make sure that we're on the right track moving forward with our divine plans and divine instructions. It's a time of rest. It's a time where we're supposed to be chilling out so that spirit can speak and we can hear clearly, so that when Mercury stations to go direct, we know the direction that we're going into. We have our lamp, like the hermit, and our lamp is light and it's full of oil, and we can go forward because we see our path. Okay, because we've been listening in this time of rest. So the fact that Mercury is retrograding, beginning in the 10 of Pentacles, moving through the 9 and the 8 of Pentacles, means that we're about to get some lessons here on how to really tune into materializing and living our value. So Taurus season was all about connecting to our value, who it is that the Aries energy says we are. So your Aries energy is your crown. It's your I am truth. It's who you are divinely. It's the energy that this 11:11 on my clock, that this matrix has done its best to try to snuff out of you so you wouldn't connect to it, because for as long as you connected to that, you are reconnected to source. Okay? So when you connect to when you get your crown back and you are walking in your I am truth, and you begin to recognize your value, the value you bring to this earth, the value you bring to the world, who you are divinely and all of your resources, you begin to wake up to that. And now Virgo season teaches you how to take those resources and to utilize them in such a way that you are bringing honor to yourself first, in order that you can then go out to the collective through the Libra energy and so forth. You can then go back out into the collective and begin to give from a place of overflow. You see, the matrix taught us to give from a place of lack and to keep giving, even if we were in a deficit, so that we would continue to grow that lack energy. But the divine says, no, there's no need. You are abundant. Tune into that abundance and start to give from that place. And that's how you grow it. You grow it for yourself. You grow it for others. You grow it for one another. And everyone can connect to this abundance energy, because it's not something outside of yourself. It is who you are. It's literally the resources that you have. So Virgo energy is here to teach us how to organize our lives. And so this Mercury retrograde energy is teaching us now to start to look at all of the ways we've been living our day-to-day life in ways that actually devalue and bring dishonor to who we are as divine beings, so that we can learn a new way to live, which is why to some extent we've been told to chill out and rest, not because you have to be in that state forever, but because it's time to tune into those energies that moving forward are going to tune you into your abundance and tune you out of the matrix enslavement programming and conditioning that had you constantly feeling like, if I'm not doing something, then I'm not worthy of having something. And that's a lie. You're worthy just being. You're worthy just because you are. Everything that the Matrix tried to tell you was all about trying to devalue you to make you feel like you're worthless. But the divine says you're worthy just because you are. So this is what we're about to learn. These lessons, we're about to learn how to deal with this truth in ways that we can begin to transfer this into material abundance, but even more importantly, begin to create the container to be able to hold that material abundance by the way that we deal with ourselves on a day-to-day, with the compassion, the empathy, the love, the attention to joy and play and pleasure, and all of those things that Venus retrograding through Leo has been here to remind us of also. Venus retrograding through Leo, and we may as well move to that energy since we're talking about it. Venus is still in Leo, and she is at 14 degrees. She rose on Monday the 21st. She had been in the underworld since I think it was August the 6th. So just over 2 weeks she was in the underworld. And before that she had been rising as the evening star, so the first star on the horizon at dusk. And now, come the 21st, she began to rise as the morning star, the first star on the horizon in the morning. Okay? And so Venus retrograding through Leo has been all about us reconnecting with our inner child, with our value, with our light, recouping all that we've lost through these soul exchanges. Venus retrograde will almost always deal, no matter what sign it's in, it will always deal with our sense of worth. It will deal with how we are materially expressing our value through how we love, how we the relationships that we allow ourselves to be in, and even the work that we allow ourselves to do. So Venus is concerned with your love and concerned with your money, insofar as it is concerned with you living a life that is in alignment with pleasure, because you came here to enjoy yourselves. You did. And Venus wants you to have that. Venus is the materialization of Neptunian energy as far as I'm concerned. And Neptunian energy deals with these higher octave divine concepts of love and what we like to call the dream. But when we utilize the power of Mercury and Jupiter to expand the horizons of the limitations that the Matrix tries to put on our mind, we realize it's not a dream. It's actually how we are supposed to live. It's what we're supposed to be living, what we're supposed to connect with. They're not these far off ideas. We connect to them and we feel so strongly. The Matrix calls them dream and fantasy, but the reason we're so drawn to it is because our souls know the energy, because that's what we've lived, that's what we've come from. We've known that to be possible, even if consciously we're not aware of that because of the amnesia energy that we come through when we enter the Matrix. So this Venus in 14 degrees is all about, it's a stabilizing of energies. 14 is the Temperance card in the tarot, and it is a degree of Taurus. Okay, so there's some kind of equalizing of value. There's a lot of energy here that is helping us to tune into the balance of our value systems that must come in order to equalize the value system within the matrix. That actually allows us to begin to accrue all of the abundance and the resources that have been taken from us. It occurs when we find that balance within self, and then it begins to become expressed collectively, right? So we're reaching some kind of critical juncture here as the sun enters Virgo, and Venus is at 14 degrees Leo with that too. Is there anything else? So we've got Mars at 27 degrees Virgo. 27 is a degree of Gemini, so we got some more mercurial energy. So Mars is fighting through the degree and through the Virgo energy. It's fighting for your right to be mentally free, for your right to connect with these expansive energies, and not only connect with them, but to ground them through the Virgo energy. So when Mars entered Virgo, it was the beginning of the materialization of these things that we've been fighting for in the spirit, okay? Yeah, I don't think I want to go too much farther into that. Let me see if there's anything else, because these degrees, these placements, when you get to like the outer planets, not much changes. So I don't tend to go into that too much unless there's like a huge change or something that is really sticking out to me. But there isn't. But I will say that at this stage of the journey, Mercury is stationed to go retrograde. She's about to begin to go retrograde. So at this point, we do have 5 planets retrograding. And when planets retrograde, it is a time for us to pause. And the reason why we pause is because it's not only like this energy of review, although it is, but what begins to happen is that it's like the planets allow us to go back and to see and to experience. And it's almost like when planets are in retrograde, it's almost like you have the ability to timeline jump backwards to fix things in order to move forwards again when they retrograde. So remember, understand and overstand that you are multi-dimensional, infinite beings that are actually not constricted by time, insofar as you know how to utilize your own powers to play with time. So you have the power to go back in time and to change things. You do. Now, does it mean that it's going to clear it off of the, it's like it never happened? No. But what you can do is you can influence a future timeline by tweaking things in a prior timeline to bring a future timeline into higher alignment with what you want. Okay, so it's almost like these retrograde energies promote that, because the pause is for meditation. The pause is so that you can connect with deeper truths that you now have access to, because the planets are retrograding. Okay, so bear in mind that 5 planets retrograde. This is interesting, and also know that retrograde energies work differently for everyone. Yes, so there's a lot of I love Mercury retrograde personally. I don't really most of the time have issues with Mercury retrograde, because I do believe that part of the fear that is put out about Mercury retrograde is a spell. And if you believe that spell, then you will create that spell, because that's how powerful you are. But I also believe that with all retrograde, whenever you're working with any energy, if you are resisting and going against what that energy is doing, then you will have conflict, because you cannot come against a collective planetary energy and think you're going to win. So you may as well go with the flow of what the energy is wanting to do and where it is it's trying to take you, because otherwise you just bring unnecessary conflict and chaos into your reality. And that's the thing with Mercury retrograde, is that because the matrix teaches us to be human doings instead of being, we don't honor the cycles and the seasons of anything, including the planets. And the planets desire to be honored for what it is that they do for you. Yes. What else do I want to say about that? Oh, and yes, so some people actually thrive during retrograde season, 23 on the clock. Like they tell some people they tell us all, like, don't sign contracts. Some people begin new projects during Mercury retrograde that stand the test of time. Some people were born in this kind of energy, like 5 retrogrades, 5 planets, 6 planets in retrograde. And so, you know, the way that these energies are going to affect them going into new things is going to be very different than the beings who don't have that. So, you know, pay attention to your own internal guidance when it comes to dealing with retrograde energies, because there's always a way to maximize the potency and the power of everything, including the retrogrades. Okay, so I'm trying to see. Yeah, we've still got the 27 degrees Aries North Node. That is, we're still in 4 of Wands energy, so it's still about setting foundations and undoing faulty foundations, which again ties into this energy of these false legacies being torn down. Okay, yeah, Lilith's still doing her thing in Leo. You know, still doing her thing. Nobody puts baby in the corner energy. Nobody is shy and takes your light and dims it anymore kind of energy, unless you let them, because Lilith is supporting your liberation. And so is Virgo. That's another thing. Virgo energy, the number 9, is a number of endings, but Virgo is also the energy of liberation. It's the energy that liberates your soul out of the matrix. It's the energy that takes you to the wheel of fortune to put an end to your suffering. So you get off the wheel of fuckery and you no longer have to learn your lessons through karmic cycles, but you learn them through accessing dharmic living. But again, that's all based upon whether you believe you're worthy to, based upon the Christed mind you access through Gemini season, and whether you then reprogrammed your emotional fields to therefore be able to receive dharmic living and conceive dharmic living. So I think that's all I have for you. It's a really long video tonight. But yeah, I wish you guys all a beautiful Virgo season. I love Virgos. I have prominent Virgo energy in my chart too. And ironically enough, or not ironically, my first YouTube channel was, it was a collective channel, but it attracted majority Virgos, which I found to be so funny at the time. Given the fact that, you know, like that this energy just seems to follow me everywhere. But I love Virgo energy. You guys, you a lot of the time you don't know how precious you are and how much you help us to integrate, to organize, and to get our lives. You know, like I joke with my daughter, because she's a Virgo sun. I joke with her about this all the time, but every season too. It's like, Virgo season's here. It's time to get your life in order. Because from the time she was like 3, she's been walking around with a notebook. And you'd ask her, like, what are you doing? Why do you have a notebook? You're 3. And she'd be like, I need to get my life in order. So I love that Virgo, and I really adore it. I adore you guys so much. Your foibles, your strengths, it's all one and the same. But you guys are beautiful, and I thank you for the ways that you help us to rise, and you help us to utilize the power of your energy to get free, and to organize the fullness of our light. So for all you Virgos and all of you guys with heavy Virgo placements, I'm sending you guys all so much love. I'm sending everyone love this Virgo season. I will be back again soon. I'll be back again for the full moon, the blue moon, the full moon in Pisces tarot astrology reading. But yes, as always, if you are interested in working one-to-one with me, then please do make sure to check out my website for my offerings, and then you can either contact me through the website or email me. That information is in the description box below. I only do bookings by way of communicating with you via email. Okay, so you can't order through my site, but you can use it as a menu to know what it is that I have to offer. I have a few more slots for, I think, like the last few days of August for mentorship at the summer rates before they go up again in September. So if that's something that you're interested in, one-to-one mentorship sessions, I do either 60 or 90-minute time slots, then please make sure to avail yourself of that deal before the prices return to their normal pricing on September 1st. But yes, I'm going to love you, and I'll see you again soon. I wish you guys all the best. Happy Virgo season. Until next time, be well.